Welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Your host, Jill Hart, the Coach's Alchemist. Couldn't be more excited to have you join us today. On this podcast, we celebrate the champions of change, the up-and-coming life, health and transformational coaches who are fearlessly stepping forward to make a difference in the world. Get ready for inspiring stories, practical tips, and powerful moments that will motivate you to make a positive change in your life and those around you. We're happy to have you join us on this incredible journey as we dive into the world of life, health, and transformational coaches who are lighting up the path towards a better tomorrow.
Hi, and welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Today we are speaking with Beth Ann Kaib. She is the nomadic cowgirl. We're going to talk about that, I'm sure. She's a visionary framework strategist specializing in business launch, maximizing efficiency through a solid foundation, and building functional websites for the small business owner. Welcome, Beth Ann. Come on down.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. So tell us the story behind the nomadic cowgirl, and then we'll get into what you do.
Sounds great. So I actually came out of an abusive marriage, and I thought it was a great idea to buy a travel trailer and gut it and go across the country. And so that's kind of where nomadic came from. And I was born and raised a cowgirl. So while we were traveling, I thought it would be a great idea to start up a business. And my kid and I spent time listing down all the things that embody me on a big, like, full body mirror that we had in the trailer. And eventually Nomadic Cowgirl just kind of came together. So
I love it.
yes, it was an amazing adventure of rebuilding myself, rebuilding my kid, and rebuilding our bond together. So yeah.
That's so beautiful. Doesn't it feel empowering when you have a title and you
Yes.
just, it's like your title makes you feel good and it inspires you to be more. And I don't know,
Every time I say it, it puts me back into that place where I was at one of the lowest points of my life. And I was on this journey and this mission with all of this dedication and perseverance inside of me to just be better and, do the best that I could. So every time I say my business name, Nomadic Cowgirl, it puts me right back in that emotion so that I can keep going.
oh, that's so beautiful. So beautiful. So you do build websites.
I
That's
do. I
kind
build functional websites. I'm a firm believer that anybody can build a website, but I like to build websites where they actually work for you, because if you're going to pay to have one built and that's what you're going to be promoting, it should be working for you.
And how would you define a functional website over just, your vanilla website that anybody can throw together?
It's very, very specific. I take the time to get to know the business owner and their business and what exactly they're doing. And I specialize in small business owners because I am one, and that's where my heart is. So I will figure out whatever can be done on the back end through your website to give you more time in a day and keep you from sitting behind the computer and processing all the fun paperwork. So whether it's having your Instagram feed automatically go to your website. So if you're strong on Instagram, so that you constantly have updates on your website of current events. And that also like pulls your branding right through, whether you need to have appointments booked on your website, whether you need forms to be downloaded on your website, whatever needs you have, I want to make sure that you're getting the most out of your website.
Very cool. And do you do the SEO part of it?
I don't specialize in that. I have the basics of it, so I do it, but I that is not my biggest strength. I will say that.
But you do help people like connect it to Google and
Yeah, I like to
analytics and
offer
stuff.
packages,
Mhm.
because quite often when new business owners come to me, they don't know what they don't know, and they don't realize if you don't set up a Google business page, then you aren't showing up on Google, and that is like your biggest drive for leads. So I go from A to Z. I help them. Sometimes they have a business name, sometimes they don't. So sometimes we're starting at the business name, and we'll get a domain, build a website, set up all their social media, set up their Google business page. If they need to be on Yelp or LinkedIn or things like that, I can also do that. Design business cards, all the way through.
That's really good. Most people, when they first get started, they think that, first I need a website, but really
Yes,
first you need an offer.
exactly. You need an LLC and an EIN, and you don't want to buy a website and build a website if you can't have that business name. So
Yeah, yeah. And even beyond that, it's knowing what you're selling.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
if you're not selling something, you're not actually in business. You
yeah.
have to be able to make offers. And I don't know how many times I've built websites for people before too.
Okay, okay.
so so I have a little bit of familiarity with what challenges that you face.
Yes.
It's like, and you want to blog, but I don't know anything about your business. Do you
Uh-huh.
want to give me some content?
Yep. Yeah, I
So
have.
what kinds of things would you recommend? Mostly it's going to be coaches listening to this podcast.
I love coaches.
I love them too. They're special people.
Yeah.
And I like having people on like you that can help give them some little pointers as far as when you're getting ready to put your website together, what are the things that they need to bring to you to make the process happen smoothly and quickly?
First, I would say is professional headshots because those generally take the longest. Selfies just don't fly on a website. If you want to put your professional foot forward, highly recommend investing in professional photos. After that, I've worked with a lot of coaches, and they come to me and they always have heart and passion and dedication. They're never out just for money, which is why I love them. Those are the people I want to help. But they also tend to never really know what they're offering. They know if they're a life coach or a business coach or a spiritual coach, but they haven't thought about packages or like how the services are defined exactly and specifically what services they're offering. So I love working with them and helping them to figure out what their strengths are, because quite often they don't know what their strengths are. So helping them find their strengths and being able to not undervalue themselves, because I see that as quite a common issue too. Don't be afraid to charge what you are worth, not what you think you are worth, but what you are worth. So having some idea of what kind of services, packages, and what kind of price point you're going to be offering is hugely helpful too. Another area I see a lot of coaches struggle is some kind of bio. Like we got to have some kind of information about you. And a lot of people have a hard time writing and like essentially bragging about themselves. I don't want to say bragging, but you have
And
to,
you have to
yeah.
be able to relate to the people that are coming to you, and they have to know that you're their people. You have to
Yes.
shine your light.
Yes. Yes.
This is the all about you show.
Yes.
Your website's the all about me site. That's
Yes.
why they're coming there. You are your brand.
What problems are you solving? Because that's what you need to have on your website. You have like 3 seconds to convey exactly what it is you do and give that warm fuzzy feeling, because that's the click-through rate. If you don't have them in 3 seconds, they're gone.
Mhm.
um yeah.
Yeah, and they have to have a reason to stay.
Yes,
And you
definitely.
have to have a logical progression from awareness when they get there to the next logical step, and you need to be able to push them there quickly.
Yes. Yes, definitely got to have some kind of call to action. You want to capture as much information from them as you can. I really highly recommend anybody, but especially coaches, have some kind of freebie that they offer so that they can capture email addresses and capture that information to follow up, and having some
And
kind of newsletter.
yeah, and the freebie needs to be something that moves them one step closer to
Yes.
getting the problem solved. It's a micro problem of the three main problems that you solve, and being able to encourage the next step, which is a call with you. But it needs to be congruent with your overall message. It comes back again to knowing what your offer is. There's generally, if you can make it simple and easy, and they can get like the first step, maybe you have like a 3-step process to do solve one micro problem of the main problems that you solve. It moves them a little bit closer. They get to know you a little bit. You can throw some testimonials in there, but you move them to the discovery call rather than just having book a call with me, because nobody's going to book a call with you. They don't know who you are.
Exactly.
And, and making that lead magnet actually productive for you so that you can get on calls with people.
Yeah, you have to find that fine balance. So you're not giving away all the goods, but you're giving away enough so that they want to hire you, and you establish that trust factor and they know that you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and you spend a lot of time in your other content marketing, sharing solutions to micro problems and always pushing them to that lead magnet, which will push them to the call, rather than thinking they're just going to get on a call with you. Most people don't really know what you're doing. And, and getting clarity around that is really foundational, because you can't make an offer if you don't really understand your own offer.
Yeah.
You get caught up in the whole trying to talk people into working with you, which never works. It's all about making an offer is simply the extension of problem solving. If they have a problem and they have acknowledged that they have that problem, you've discovered where it is that they want to be. If they didn't have that problem anymore, you can make them an offer, because you can help them see that working with you is the next logical step. You're going to help them bridge that gap between where they are and where they want to be. But if you don't know what your offer is, it's really hard to figure out how to bridge that gap.
Yeah, totally.
That's what I help people with.
That's amazing. I love it. I have a few people I need to send your way.
I would love to chat with them.
Perfect.
Or you can just simply give them my create an offer your ideal client can't resist guide. It's free. Did I mention that?
You did not. Added bonus. I love it.
Bonus. So back to what people need to have together when they're working with you to get their website up and functional. And
intake forms. I find, especially coaches, they're like, oh yeah, I should probably ask some questions. So come in with an intake form, and someone like me can definitely build that for you, but you kind of need to know what you want to ask. And balancing that fine line too. Some coaches don't ask enough and some ask too much. So I feel like it's always a good idea to go and stalk your fellow competitors' website. If they are super successful, go see, what's working for them, what's not, and what resonates with you. How can you, put your own unique spin on that so that you're being true to yourself, but put yourself out on a good, successful step to start. So
yes,
highly
I
recommend
agree.
that. Yes.
And sometimes you can just opt in to their stuff, see what they're doing, see what questions they ask on their Calendly form. And it's an easy way to get questions answered before you get on a call with somebody. The first call that you have with them, maybe just an exploratory 15-minute call where you just see if they actually have the problem that you solve. Again, you need to know what problems you solve. And if they have the means to pay you, because there's nothing more frustrating than getting on a phone call with somebody who's like totally broke. And there's no way, even if they want to work with you, that they can work with you. And, I get holding space for people to find a way, but my experience is that there are some people that just really are not in that space right now. It's not to say that they won't be at a different point, but you gotta determine if they can afford you. And you need to charge enough money that they're going to get the result that you offer. Because a lot of times coaches will just offer, $150 an hour, or then you're just trading time for money, which is not scalable. And the idea of charging a significant amount, enough that when you say that number, it makes you both gasp. It's as much as you can comfortably say without like breaking into a visible sweat. That's what you should be charging. And it's not for you, it's for your client. Because if your client is really that invested, they're going to work at it. They're going to get the result. And if they're not, then they're not going to get the result. And you're going to feel bad because you're going to be like, well, maybe my program doesn't work. Well, it would work if they valued it and they did the work. So that's my goal around pricing. And I encourage people to charge and don't ever back down on your price.
Yes.
They can afford it or they can't.
And if they can't afford it, they're not for you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's much easier to have 5 clients paying you, $5,000 a piece than 15 clients paying you $1,000 a piece.
Definitely.
Those 3 clients that are paying you $5,000 are going to get results. They're going to leave you glorious testimonials. You'll have time to actually focus on them and help them to really move forward. It's more of a concierge service rather than a cafeteria style. I guess I don't know. I've done a lot of talking here. I'm very passionate about this subject.
That's amazing, though. It shows. That's amazing.
So back to website building.
Yes.
And helping small business owners. Who are your ideal clients? I know we both talk to coaches, but do you help other people? And what kind of platforms do you use for building the websites?
So I love GoDaddy and Wix. I know there's a lot of people that are not fans of GoDaddy, but I find GoDaddy is a great starter platform. A lot of the packages I offer are in GoDaddy. And then I leave you with like a tutorial video so that you can learn how to swap out photos or swap out information on your website all on your own, so that you don't have to spend the money to hire somebody, because let's face it, we're all pinching pennies when we first start out on our business. So that is why I love GoDaddy. Wix is a step above. Wix, you can design from scratch. It doesn't look quite as cookie cutter. If you want to move your picture an inch to the right and a little bit bigger, you can do that, where you can't do that in GoDaddy. But again, Wix is more expensive, and if you want to make changes, it's a lot harder. You're better off hiring somebody. But I find by specializing in the 2 platforms, I move very quickly. So my turnaround time is very quick. As far as my ideal clients, I love horse people as well. I have a background of working with horses, obviously the nomadic cowgirl. So horse people, I love working with therapists. I used to do occupational therapy for a living. So I love working with therapists. I understand them. And I've also done like a towing company and a couple polygraph companies. So really, it's just anybody who has passion. I don't like working with the people that are just looking to turn a quick buck, because that just doesn't resonate with my highest. So anyone that has the passion that comes to me has a goal. I like to try to push them past that goal, because come on, you can reach higher. You can find that big scary goal, reach for that unicorn dream. So that's what I love helping people achieve, is their hairy, scary unicorn dreams.
That's really great. And we all need somebody to just kind of like push us along a little bit. It's more than just hiring somebody to slap a website together, because you can go places and pay $5 an hour
and have a crappy website built for
you.
And
have a crappy website built for you that you're going to struggle with, rather than paying somebody who really knows what they're doing, who can build you a website that you'll be able to operate. Because really, when it comes down to it, a lot of people don't think about the work that goes into maintaining a website. It's not like you just build a website and slap it up there and you're done. It's a living being. It'll change, and you'll change, and you'll want to change it. And if you don't really have access to somebody that you can say, hey, remember when you did this for me? Well, I screwed it all up.
I learned quickly after I started this business. I now offer 2 small revisions within the first 6 months after completing the build, because people always come back to me and they're like, "Oh, I should have done this." So yeah, not I now include that because yes, you
And
always do want to change it.
the other big tip that I have for everyone, because I've seen that people lose like tens of thousands of dollars. Back up your data,
Oh
back
yes,
up your website and put it on your hard drive, not the host's hard drive. Because if you get crosswise with that host, I don't care how good you think you are at paying your bills, every once in a while, you're going to have something compromised and you're going to forget that that was attached and your website can disappear.
yes.
And it's
I've
like,
had so many people come to me and they were hosting with the small business owner, which I get it. We all want to host or we all want to support small business owners, but that's not where I would recommend that your website goes, because I've had so many people come to me and they're like, it just disappeared. They went out of business. They didn't tell me and my website was gone. And that is heartbreaking.
it is
Heartbreaking.
heartbreaking. And there are resources for backing it up. It doesn't take
Yeah.
very long. It can be done automatically. It's good to use WordPress, or do
They
you build it on a
do.
WordPress?
I don't do WordPress. I'm not a fan. And they don't automatically update any of their plugins or any of that stuff. So if you build it on the GoDaddy actual website builder or
Mhm.
Wix, they automatically do all of that stuff for you. So you never have to worry about your website crashing.
WordPress is actually doing auto updates now, which I
Oh,
thought was like hugely amazing.
yes, yes. Good to
But
know.
yeah, so that does happen automatically. But I'm sure that even with Wix and with GoDaddy, that there are ways that you can back up your website, the whole thing, the databases, everything, and store it on your own computer or in the cloud. It's really important. Even if you only do it every quarter, it, and definitely after you make changes that you want to keep, and keep a couple versions, like at least two, in case one of those versions is corrupted. Then you haven't lost everything. I mean, this really did happen to a really good friend of mine. She lost a website she'd spent $10,000 on.
Ouch.
Yeah, and more than that, that was just the cost of the website. And then she had a lot of work done to it, so she probably spent another $5,000. So it's like $15,000 flushed down the drain because didn't back it up. And the hosting company, a lot of times hosting companies will back it up weekly or even daily. But if you forget to pay your bill, or her credit card got compromised or something, and so it she didn't find out about it for like 2 months. And by
Oh,
then it was gone. Everything was gone. It was like, don't let this happen to you.
yeah.
Please, please.
Some of my less tech savvy clients that didn't want to invest the money in backing up, they actually went and took screenshots of all of the pages on their website. So even that is better than having nothing. At least you have a
Yeah,
starting point.
yeah. At least you have someplace. And there's always the Wayback Machine. I've rebuilt websites on the Wayback Machine.
Love it.
Yeah, it's the things you have to do. It's complicated though, because you have to like change all of the links and
Yeah.
reinstall all of the images, and it's just like so much easier just to like have it restore.
Yes. Yes.
Just rebuild.
Save
Much
the
cheaper.
headache. Yes.
Yeah,
For sure.
exactly. I feel like an elf. My camera, sometimes the lighting works weird, and so I like
Huh.
become this elf-like person, and then I'm back to normal.
I thought you just had a nice angelic glow.
Oh, that was it.
Yes. Yes.
So do you have anything else that you would like to suggest that people think about when it comes to websites? And
So not so much websites, but just in general, I am a huge advocate. You have to put time in your schedule for yourself. I have seen, especially coaches, because they do wear their hearts on the sleeve. You have to put self-care first. You cannot take care of anybody else. You cannot run a business if you are running on E. So maintain those date nights, those kids play nights, game nights, whatever you need, but definitely schedule time for yourself. It is a must. It should be at the top of your list.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And time for yourself for meditation, exercise, all of the little things in life. It's so important that you have some place where you can close the door and say, work is over now. And take breaks. Go outside for 5 minutes. You don't have to stay glued to your desktop or your laptop.
Yeah. I listened to this flow state on Spotify, and it has the binaural beats, and then it has like these mandated breaks. I get so much work done because it gives you this like motivational music, and you just crank out some work, and then it's like, and now is your 5-minute break. And that's my reminder so that I don't burn myself out in a day too. So finding something like that helps keep you on track too. And I have a friend that lives by timers, so whatever works for you.
Yeah. And knowing, scheduling your breaks in throughout your day is really important. You just can't work the long hours that people that are starting a business, you can just find yourself there. You're working, 12, 14-hour days, like your whole day is spent working on your business, and you're not taking any time for yourself and your family and your connections with other people. And those are really the things that matter more than anything else in the world.
Definitely.
It's not this ethereal thing that we're striving for, but being present and knowing that sometimes in the breaks, you get the most clarity because you're not like hyper focused on doing a task. Excuse me. So it gives your brain time to kind of like play with itself and figure out, what is it that I really want to do?
Yes.
And, ideas will come to you, and write them down, but don't start working again.
a little reset. Yeah, for sure.
Mini resets are great. So what's the one thing that you would like to leave the audience with today?
Ooh, so I am a firm believer that you should never stop learning. And you don't have to climb the mountain and set this like big goal just to be learning. You can invest in Meetup or Groupon and learn how to axe throw or weld or whatever. In that space, you are constantly learning and growing. And if you aren't challenging yourself, if you aren't feeling uncomfortable, then you just get stuck in this rabbit wheel of a space, and you can't have that flow of energy to expand yourself, and that leads to expanding your business. So I'm a firm believer you have to do the unfamiliar things, and you have to keep learning and growing.
Well said. Well said.
Thank you.
So how do people get in touch with you, Beth Ann?
The easiest is my website. You can go to www.allthingsbeth.com. I'm also on social media. Mainly, I hang out on Facebook and primarily Instagram at Nomadic Cowgirl.
Perfect. And we'll put those links in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the You World Order Showcase podcast. We hope you've enjoyed hearing from our incredible life, health, and transformational coaches who are making a profound impact on the world. Remember, change begins with you, and you have the power to transform your life and the lives of others. If you want to take that next step and unlock your true potential, visit thecoachesalchemist.com, where you can find the 3 ways we can help you for free to spin your talent into gold with clarity, a system, and a plan. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an inspiring episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more people with our positive message. Stay connected with us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and upcoming guest announcements. You can find us on Facebook at the U World Order or simply visit thecoachesalchemist.com.